If you want to know how you can set up your tarp with no trees, then stay tuned. So I'm here in the central Swiss Alps, and as you can see, I'm above the tree line, so I don't have any trees that I can tie my tarp to. But that's no problem, because I'm going to show you guys 3 simple and easy ways you can set up your tarp without the help of trees. So let's get into it. Now the first setup I want to show you is going to be your typical lean-to shelter. And for that we're going to be using this 2x3 meter tarp by AquaQuest, stakes, paracord, and as a replacement for the trees we're going to be using these 2 trekking poles. Now first you want to try to find a flat spot, and then you can roll out your tarp where you want to set up your shelter. And then you start by staking out the corners. When you stake out the second corner, try to get some tension on there. And then we go to the front. Now it's time to raise the front of the shelter, and you have to adjust the height to what's best suited for you. I like it just above my waist here, so I'm going to set my trekking pole to that height, which is approximately 120 centimeters. Now, before I just throw this loop over my pole, then it would just fall down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie one end of the paracord to this pole, and I'm going to do that with the clove hitch. Just going to tighten it up here. And now it can't fall down once the paracord is on tension here. It's not going to fall down anymore. It's going to stay up here. So you try to set this pole up nice and straight, and then you pull it down to where you want your paracord to go, and then you get your stake. And also here I like to do the clove hitch as well. And then I stake it down here. And then this side is already up and it won't fall over. I mean, it's pretty steady here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Set my pole to 120 centimeters. Clove hitch around the trekking pole. Go down here, another clove hitch. And then stick that down. And I mean, your shelter's up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stake down the back line here, because now you'd get a draft back here. So I'm going to put a couple more stakes back here, and then I'm going to give you a close-up on this setup. The thing that I like about this kind of setup is that it's very easy and fast. After you've done it a couple of times, 2 to 3 minutes, and it's set up. Another thing that I like is you can get in and out of this setup no problem. It's very open here, nothing blocking it, so that's nice. But if it starts raining, you might get wet because, like I said, it's open around here, so you just have to tuck in better if it starts to rain. Okay, so this is their lean-to. On to the next one. So our next setup is going to be an A-frame. And I'm going to start out by staking out the right side corners of the tarp. Next, we already get to the front here. And here, I mean, you have to, same like with the lean-to, you have to adjust the height to your personal preference. This looks pretty good to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my trekking pole again to the height that I want it to. Yep, this looks good. Well, same like before, clove hitch around the trekking pole. And I can put the loop over it. And now, when you're setting up your A-frame, you have to go away with the paracord in an angle. You can't go away like straight ahead or else it'll just fall over. You have to adjust that after once it's all set up. So I got my stake here. So pull that away in an angle and it'll stand alone. And then you can, got a stake ready here, you can stake out the front left corner. And then you can already switch back to pulling it straight ahead here. Maybe adjust this a little bit. All right, looks better. Now we go do the same in the back. I forgot to check what height I have it at. Now here you don't have to go off in an angle because it's already standing there. And as you can see here, you have to adjust the corner a little bit. Okay. Now I have some stakes here and I'm going to stake out the sides just to keep them down nice. They don't flap in the wind. Good. You're done. Your A-frame's up. No time. Now, the thing with the A-frame is, because you got your trekking pole right here in the middle of the entrance, to get in and out, you just take it over to the side a little bit. Slide in, set it up again. That's it. The thing that I like about this setup is that you're protected from the rain way better compared to the lean-to shelter. You got two sides protecting you from the rain. Plus it's 3 meters long. So I mean, even a decent sized man can fit in there, no problem. and you won't get wet feet. But the thing that I don't like about this setup, you saw it before, the way you have to get in and out. It's not easy or not quick. You have to move the trekking pole away, slide in, move it back. It's just not as easy as with a lean-to. So that's your A-frame. Easy setup as well, only a couple minutes and you're ready. Now on to the last one. Now for our last setup, I'm going to be using this 3x3 meter superlight tarp from Hammocks. I'm going to roll it out. Pull it back a little bit. Now what we're going to be setting up here is a tent type of shelter. And we're going to start by staking out the back corners. As always, get some good tension on it here. And now with the front corners, what you're going to do is you're going to take this corner here, but you're going to stake it down where the second or the first loop to the left would be. So you take this and you bring it here. So you don't get a 90-degree angle back there. And the same thing here, you take the corner and you go to the first loop to your right. It'll be here. So now I'm going to go underneath the tarp and push them up with the poles so you get this tent type of build. Now what you have to be careful with when you go in and do that with these trekking poles is that the handles are up against the tarp and not these bottom pointy parts here, because you're going to wreck your tarp if you do that. Another thing you want to make sure is when you push these up, try to be right underneath one of these tie-out points, because usually these are a little bit tougher than right here in the middle. You can see that pretty good when you're in there. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to set it up. Okay, so now it's pretty much standing. Then what you have to do is you have to stake down these tie-out points so you don't get any air draft going underneath. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start it in the back, in the middle. Okay, so it's pretty much set up. Now you can see here, you got this flap going. So what you do is you take these tile points, you take some paracord from here, you tie it back to the stakes on the side. You know, just tie a double knot. So, and here I'll do my favorite knot, the clove hitch, because this way you can adjust it, give it some pull here, then you push it down. Give it a second piece of paracord, go over to the other side, do the same thing here. No more flapping. Nice entrance. Now you can get in there. With this setup, you're protected. I mean, it's like a tent. The only open thing is the entrance here, and even that you can close up at night. You just have to untie the paracord on the side, bring in the flaps, put your pack in front of it, and it's closed. I like to use this setup when I'm out camping with my kids because it makes it feel safer. It's just like a little tent. So that's great about this type of setup. The only thing that's maybe not so great is, I mean, this is for 2 people, and it's hard to get a big ground sheet in there because you have the poles right in the middle. But I mean, that is like the only bad thing that I can say about this setup. So this is your tent setup. Okay, so these were the 3 setups without trees. I'm sure there's different ways that you can set up your tarp, but I use these 3 the most. Let me know in the comments which setup is your favorite and why. I hope you got some value out of this video. If so, hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.